Welcome back. Today, it's going to be a strange one. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a little bit of a strange one. So this video is called Triple Decker, right? Where I'll be looking at 3 different anime games from 3 different animes, mangas, etc., etc. They are all going to be fighting games this time around. But I wanted to try something different with doing anime games instead of just covering like one series and covering some games of that series, or if not all of the games of that series. I wanted to see about looking at singular games that I'm interested in. Like, I'm not interested in every single game that this series has to offer, or the series that I'm going to cover. I'm not interested in every single game they have to offer. I'm interested in a few select games, and I went and picked the game from all 3 of these different animes that interest me the most. And that's the games we're going to be looking at today. So, stick around. This is Triple Decker. Saiyuki x Soul Eater x Yu Yu Hakusho. So, first up we have Saiyuki Reload Gunlock, a 3D fighting game developed and by who knows at this point, because Game FAQs doesn't list who developed it, but it is published by Bandai and was released in 2004. Now, I'm quite familiar with the Saiyuki series. I've watched Gedomasen Saiyuki, the original 50-episode anime. I've watched Saiyuki Reload. I've watched Saiyuki Reload Gunlock, and more recently I watched Saiyuki Reload Blast, which was okay, I guess. I've also read the Saiyuki Reload manga, because I was interested in that and given the manga a go. So you could say I am a fan, quite a fair bit, of Saiyuki to some degree. So, how does this fighting game fare? Pretty mediocre, actually. It's pretty standard, if I be completely honest. You got your grabs, you got your combo moves that you can pull off. Obviously, some characters are better than others, and it seems to be a special move you can pull off as well. Now, you see this, where this has this Drave meter down below, which I can't for the life of me remember what Drave is. Maybe it's what they call the energy source in the world of Saiyuki, who knows. But basically, you have like 3 different ultimate attacks you can do. You can pull off, as you just saw there, the level 1 attack. You also have a level 2 attack, or you have a level 3 attack, which is basically like a ultimate attack, as you would call it. You have a total of 8 playable characters, which obviously for a fighting game is kind of weak, let's be honest. But in all fairness, the ones they had as playable characters were kind of like, yeah, fair enough. There isn't really that many different people in this show that they could have really based it on and had as playable characters, if I be completely honest. Hell, the main bad guy of Saiyuki Reload Gunlock is a playable character in this game, and he is fucking dog shit. He is a really, really shit character. It's not this guy, Kami-sama. I can't remember who he is. He's the only one I don't recognize, so I can't remember where exactly he's from and what part of the story. But if you just wait for a second, wait for it, here we go, and boom! Hazel. This is the main bad guy of Saiyuki Reload Gunlock, if I remember correctly. And he plays like dog shit. He is like, honestly, he has no combos. He is fucking horrible to play as. He uses like some kind of fucking airbending or some stupid shit. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But yeah, I lost as him. He's not very good. So Saiyuki Reload Gunlock. If you're interested in the what Saiyuki is, if you haven't seen it or interested in what the story is, basically you've got a monk who's got to go out and journey from east to west. It is based on the story of Journey West, which is a famous story from Asia, I think. I can't remember what country it originates from, that story, but there's a lot of films based off of it, a lot of different media based off of it. And this is no different. And basically, you have 4 characters, and they're journeying from east to west, trying to reach a certain temple, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot more to it than that, but that's the brief kind of synopsis of what it is. So yes, Saiyuki Reload Gunlock. It's a mediocre fighting game. It isn't really anything special, but it doesn't fail in anything. At least it's pretty fine in terms of its mediocrity. Like I said, I don't know who developed it. There's no title cards for the developer, and I can't see what the back of the box. The back of the box doesn't always tell you, by the way, so it's hard to tell. Based on how it plays, it could be Beck, for all I know. It could be Beck. I could see them making this, if I'm being honest. I could see them. Anyway, let's move on to the next game, shall we? Next up, we have Soul Eater Battle Resonance, a game that actually is developed by Beck, and it's confirmed to be developed by Beck. But as again, you could see from that title screen, who knows? It didn't really say, did it? So, Soul Eater. pretty good anime. Really enjoyed the 50-episode anime back in the day, and I've read the manga as well. I enjoyed it that much that I decided to pick up the manga. It's definitely one of those series that deserves a reboot in my eyes. You know, it really does deserve the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood treatment. Okay, yeah, it's not as good as Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but it's still a good series in its own right, in my eyes. So it could really do with that. So yes, I've read the manga and I've watched the original anime. So, how does this game play? It plays pretty good. Actually, it actually has quite an intuitive fighting system, if I be completely honest. So you can basically raise your energy up, similar to how you would in like a Dragon Ball game, for example. There's quite a lot of combos you can play around with. A lot of different moves that you can pull off, like you just saw my lightning punch there. Obviously, you also have a special that you can pull off, as you can see here. So yeah, I personally say that in terms of a combat system, I think it's actually pretty good. I think it's pretty decent. It's much better than Saiyuki Reload Gunlock, but by far, it's much more, like I said, it's much more intuitive. There's a lot more going on with this combat system than that game. So you have obviously more playable characters as well in this game, if I be honest. So you got more playable characters than you had in like Saiyuki Reload Gunlock. I had 8. This has got, I don't know, maybe 12, 14 playable characters. It's pretty cool. Got a lot of choice in terms of characters as well. It's just too bad. It made me realize that I've literally forgotten all of these characters' names because it has been that long. It's been a long time since the Soul Eater manga ended. And I've forgotten pretty much everyone's names except for the 2 main characters, which is Maka and Soul. They're the only 2. I was like, they're the only 2 I remember. Shinigami-sama, obviously, I'm going to remember as well. I don't remember these 2 though. I think the swordsman's name was Kitsune, maybe. That's just me picking straws out of this, like something that's just in the back of my head. And here's a battle between father and son. Shinigami-sama is on the left, and his son is on the right. Again, I can't remember the name of the son, if I'm honest. I think the son is literally just called Death. Isn't he called Death-sama or Death-san or something like that? I don't know. But another case of where the strongest character is also the weakest character. Like in the previous game, Saiyuki Reload Gunlock, Hazel was a weak character to play as, even though he's supposed to be the strongest. In this game, it's the same. Shinigami-sama is fucking weak as fuck. He moves as shit. I find it interesting how this cat girl is a playable character, because she literally has, like, she appears like once or twice in the series, and that's it. And of course, what Soul Eater game wouldn't be a Soul Eater game without having Excalibur as a playable character? You see the little small white guy, white thing walking around? That's Excalibur. Yeah. And he is fucking hilarious in the series. So, I'll give you a brief thing of Soul Eater. Basically, it's, you got a bunch of students, they go to an academy, you got weapons that are also people, well, they're basically these like weapons that turn into, well, these people that turn into weapons. So you got so you got to work in a team. You got one that's a magister or a meister, I think it was called meister, which was a weapon user, and then you had the other one which was an actual weapon. Excalibur here, for example, is a weapon. As you can see, he turns into the sword Excalibur, and he strikes you down, and he basically, yeah, completely destroys you. But, yeah, Soul Eater. It was a pretty good series back in the day. I haven't really got much else to say besides that. Obviously, if you're interested, go and have a look yourself. But, yeah, pretty decent fighting game, if I be completely honest. It's too bad it didn't come over to the West. It really is. You know, there's no reason it couldn't have come over to the West, if I be honest. I'm pretty sure when this game came out, which was 2009, was around about the time the anime was airing, and we got the anime pretty soonish, I think, so it would have been a good, you know, maybe not the PlayStation 2 game, but we could have got the PSP game. Who knows, right? Because there is a PSP version. Anyway, let's move on to the next game. And finally, we have the Battle of Yu Yu Hakusho, Shitou, Ankoku, Bujutsukai, 120%. Honestly, it was, well, how long is the title of this game, right? Developed by Dimps Corporation and released in 2007. It is pretty much one of the final Yu Yu Hakusho games. Now, Yu Yu Hakusho is a series that I haven't really talked about in a long old time. I watched the original anime, I haven't read the manga, but I thoroughly enjoyed the original anime. It was really, really, really good. So, the game. It's pretty much on the same level as Saiyuki Reload Gunlock. It's not as intuitive as Soul Eater Battle Resonance, but it's just a pretty mediocre fighter, if I be completely honest. But Yu Yu Hakusho's got a strange history of fighting games. Like, literally, there's like what was it? Four? No, four? No, there's three. There's three. I'm pretty sure there's three. So you got three fucking fighting games on the PlayStation 2. All of them developed by different developers. The very first one that came out was Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament, which was a Western exclusive fucking Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game developed by Digital Fiction. Then you've got Yu Yu Hakusho Forever, which was developed by Matrix Software, exclusive in Japan. And then finally you got this game developed by Dimps. You got three different fighting games developed by three different developers. How strange. But this is the game I was most interested in looking at in all of the Yu Yu Hakusho series. Out of all of the three fighting games on the PlayStation 2, this one, mainly because it's Dimps, you know. I know Dimps is a fairly decent fighting, you know, they make fairly decent fighting games. So yeah, so it's a pretty, but in terms of how it plays, it's pretty mediocre. So you have your typical grab, your combos are fairly alright. You also have the ability to like soup yourself up, like I just did with Tokushi here, and showing his muscles. There's a fair amount of playable characters to pick from, and I do like it. It shows little like scenes from the anime. Even though for Ryusuke, the guy with the white jacket, it's literally just a still. But yeah, there's a lot of playable characters. I don't know why in this versus mode it decided to have one-round matches. I don't really understand why it chose to do that. But yeah, it's an okay fighting game. It's kind of surprising that, you know, maybe we didn't get this one. Again, it's 2007, it's quite late into the PlayStation 2's life cycle. But yeah, it's not too bad. I haven't really actually got much else to say about it besides that. You know, I'd say it's probably about as good as Saiyuki Reload Gunlock. I do find it amusing though how with some of the shorter characters, and you do a combo, they just like somehow just like levitate to your level, like there. Look, watch. Let's see if we get. Look, he just like when he punches, he like jumps up to try and get you. It's kind of funny. But yeah, in case you're wondering about Yu Yu Hakusho, the story, if you're not familiar, I'm not going to, again, go massively into detail about it. Basically, you got a kid, I think he died, again, this is a long time ago, he dies, and then his spirit goes back into his body, or, no, he dies, and then his spirit goes to the spirit world, he turns out he's really strong or something, and he fights a bunch of people, and then he goes back to his body, and he goes back to normal, but obviously he's now got a link with the spirit world, and yeah, really strange. I can't remember exactly, but it's I do remember I used to have good times with this series, very good times. I did enjoy it fondly. But as it is with all anime series, you just forget what it was about. You just remember that you just remember that it was good. That was it. You just remember. Oh, I remember that it was good, but I don't remember pretty much anything about it. Anyway, so that was Yu Yu Hakusho. Not too bad. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that's the triple-decker I have for you today. I am thinking of doing more of these triple-decker videos for anime series that I'm still interested in, but not so interested to look at them individually. Like, you know, I know you're probably saying, oh, but Yu Yu Hakusho's really good, Soul Eater's really good, Saiyuki's really good. Yeah, they're good, but they're also quite fairly well-known. Like, me looking through the entirety of the Negima games was solely because no one talks about the Negima games. Why I looked at Sakagaki and Tokujuku is no one looks at the Sakagaki and Tokujuku games. That is the only reason I looked at them, really. With Hajime Ippo is different. That has a very, you know, that has a place in my heart. One of my top 10 favorite animes of all time, being number 10. So, of course, I'm going to look at all of the games in that series. It's, you know, similar to other series as well. Saint Seiya was, again, I'm interested in the video games as a whole, just from playing. I've played Saint Seiya Sanctuary Soul, whatever it's called. I played Brave Soldiers, and then obviously I played Soldier's Soul. I know, Sanctuary Battle, that was it. And I really enjoyed them. So I wanted to look at some of the older ones. And so there's always a reason why I pick an anime series to look at pretty much the entirety of the games. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason why I don't want to look at the entirety of the games for some of these other ones, like the three that were listed today. Doesn't mean they're bad, it just means I've got more interest in a singular game from that series than all of the games. So either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.